Hello everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. Sorry if the angle is kind of weird. I don't know. Today's video is going to be 22 books that I want to read in 2022. I'm excited about this. Honestly, when I was making this list, it was a little harder than I expected. 22 doesn't seem like a lot in theory, but then I was trying to think of the books that I've been like really wanting to read, and it was hard to think of 22, honestly. Which probably means I need to stop buying books, because if they're not making me super excited, why am I buying them? But that's a whole nother topic. I'm excited about all these books, so now that I have them on the list, now I'm like, I really want to read. But I'm making a new TBR game. I've already made it, but one of the prompts I'm gonna make it be something about this video, and I'm gonna have to pick a book from this specific video. So that's gonna be fun. Make sure to check out that video when it comes out. If it's before or after this, I'll link it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the absolute world to me. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. And without further ado, let's get in to 22 books that I want to read in 2022. I divided these kind of into genres, broad genres, just to make it a little bit easier. So let's just start with fantasy, because it has the least. If you don't know, I don't really read fantasy, but I'm trying to get more into it, and I have a few, and these are a few from the few that I own that excite me and I really want to read in 2022. First, I have Carnival by Stephanie Garber. I just feel like this would be a fun way for me to get more into fantasy, because it's a topic or like a storyline that really seems fun and interesting. I know some people just think this book is not it, or this series, I guess, but some people love it, so I'm hoping I'll love it. Do people say what books are about in these videos? I don't remember. I've watched like 5, but I can't remember. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Carnival, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt-of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show, only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by the Carnival's mastermind organizer. Legend. It turns out that this season's Carnival revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Carnival is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Carnival is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. Welcome to Carnival. Beware of getting swept too far away. So I'm excited. Next I have Crescent City / House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is why I haven't read it yet. It's a huge fantasy. It's not just fantasy, that it's a huge one. But I know that this is kind of murder mystery-esque. I've seen multiple people say this, but Mel Reeds has like kind of a guide for Sarah J. Maas's books, and she said like this one would be a good one for people that are into like mystery type of stuff. So I thought it'd be a good segue. It's about a half fae, half human girl. It's 2 years later after a murder mystery type of, or like a murder, and then she's trying to figure out what happened. Trying to figure out what happens, the murderer strikes again. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across warring continents, and down to the deepest level of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. Hunt is a fallen angel assigned to watch her every footstep. So I'm excited for that. I mean, I think it's a pretty well-loved book, so I'm excited. Then the last fantasy on this list is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So this is sold at, or like pitched as, a Romeo and Juliet retelling in Shanghai, but not overly Romeo and Juliet, but they're from like competing gangs, but then there's something that's taking over Shanghai that's like clawing their own throats out. So they're trying to figure out what's going on, so they team up. And the sequel to this just came out in November, I think. So this is also a really loved fantasy, I think. So I've been hearing about it since I started watching BookTube. So I do want to get to that pretty soon. Next, let's move on to contemporary. This is technically 2, but I'm just counting them as 1. The Hate You Give and Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I've been wanting to get to these for a while, so I just figured, I am excited about them, so I just figured put them on this list, and then maybe that'll give me more incentive to read them this year. Hate You Give follows Star. She witnesses a friend gets killed, was shot by the hands of a police officer, and she's like one of the only witnesses, and there's protesting because the police have no interest in investigating. What Star does or does not say could destroy her community. It also could endanger her life. And then I think this follows Star's dad when he was younger. I mean, just this alone, the back, ooh, beautiful, the front, beautiful, and somehow I got a signed copy. I stumbled across a signed copy in a store, so I'm really excited. I just need to like do it. It's one of those. Then I have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I mean, if you are on BookTube, you know what this is about. Like, you can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it. But I haven't read it yet, and I finally bought it not that long ago, and I just need to get to it because this is one of people's favorite books. This follows Evelyn Hugo, and she's sitting down with a journalist to talk about her life, and she's like a starlet. I don't know, like, she's an actress or something. But yeah, I think it's like a story, her telling the journalist her story of her life. And apparently it's just like super freaking good. So like, I gotta read it. I read Malibu Rising from Taylor Jenkins Reid this year, and it was okay. It wasn't bad, wasn't amazing, but I heard most people think it wasn't like her best, is what I've heard from the opinions. Fat Chance by Charlie Vega. Why do I keep saying that? Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado. This is about Charlie Vega. I think this boy likes her, but then she finds out this boy liked her best friend first, who seems kind of like the opposite of her. Is she his second choice or what? Does he even really see her? Because it's time people did. I just think it'll be cute, fun, good story, important story. This has been on my radar for a hot minute, so I just need to read it. That's the same reason that I put Made in Korea by Sarah Suk on this list. I've had this for a while and I just haven't gotten to it, and I think it'll just be like a feel-good, fun book. So I just want that in my life. It is pitched as like a Shark Tank type of book where these students make their own businesses, and I think these ones are like beauty brands. They're like competing against each other. I think there's something to do with school and getting like I think you win money or like a scholarship or something. So they're fighting against each other to be the best business in school, all while trying to resist the undeniable spark that's cracking between them. Good, feel good, cute cover, beautiful cover. We love them. And that's the last contemporary for this list. Then I have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, which I think some people kind of consider this a little bit contemporary as well, but I put in my little romance section. My mom is currently reading this, so that's what the bookmark is for. I just read A Verity by Colleen Hoover, and now I need to read them all. I quite honestly have no clue what this is about, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I should keep that. I think it's a relationship. Trigger warning, there's domestic abuse. I know what most books that I own are about, so the fact that I don't with this one will just be fun for me. I think I'm gonna keep it that way. Then I have It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. I just read Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey in December, and I thought it was really cute. Just a fun Christmas romance. So I already had this, but it made me want to read this even more. Will I wait till summer? Who knows? She is kind of like a little brat, and then her dad has enough of it, and he sends her to this small town to work and learn some responsibility, and then she bumps into this grumpy man. I think it's sunshine and grumpy type of trope, and you know, they just start falling for each other. as they do in romances. Then I have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. This is also one that has been on my radar for a hot minute, so I wanted to get to it pretty soon. The main characters' names are Pepper and Jack, and their families own competing restaurants, and they have this grilled cheese. And I can't remember which one, but one says the other stole the recipe from them. These characters don't know it, but they're talking to each other on anonymous chat sites and falling for each other. But they're having a Twitter feud as their restaurant's Twitters, and people online are also shipping them. So they're really falling for each other, but they don't know it, and then I think they know it, and then that causes some issues because their families don't like each other because one stole the recipe from the other. Then the last romances on this list is another series, but I only have 2 of them. The Bromance book club, but I also have the 3rd book, Crazy Stupid Bromance, because I got these on Book Outlet and they didn't have the 2nd one. It'd be nice to read most of this series. I think one is coming. I just saw that one got, the title just got announced for next fall, like 2022 fall. So it'd be cool to be all caught up and can read that when it comes out, but I think there's already 4 books. This is about this baseball player and his wife, and they start having some problems. When he loses his cool at the revelation, it's the final straw on their already strained relationship. Thea asks for a divorce, and Gavin realizes he's let his pride and fear get the better of him. And then his friends introduce him to the Bromance book club, where it's this group of guys who read romance novels, and I think it just helps them with the help of their current read a steamy novel. The guys coach Gavin on saving his marriage. Then the rest of the series follow like friends, and like it's standalones, but better if you read them all, I think. Those are all of that. Now we just have mystery, thriller type of books, and that's my biggest stack. Okay, like I said, this is my mystery, thriller, anything near that kind of genre. First, we have the Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Boulet. Not sure. This I bought when it came out, but the reason I put this on this list, it was on my radar. I want to read eventually, but I wasn't in a hurry. But this was like nominated for a lot of, and did really good with the Good Choice with the Goodread Choice Awards, and I know those are kind of iffy, but it still put this more on my radar. It follows an 18-year-old girl. She puts her future on hold to look after her fragile mother. The only bright spot is meeting Jamie, the charming new recruit of her brother Levi's hockey team. She witnesses a shocking murder, thrusting her into an FBI investigation. She goes undercover and using chemistry to kind of figure out who killed this person. It's like a First Nations, Indigenous focused characters and setting. The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, because this won the mystery thriller category of the Goodreads Choice Award, and my mom read this for her book club a couple months ago. She thought it was like fine, like it was good, but like nothing special. Definitely didn't think it would win like anything. I think he dies or just disappears, this woman's husband, and all he says is protect their daughter. And then the police / FBI, and the FBI comes to her to get some answers out of her, and their daughter just may hold the key to figuring out Owen's true identity and why he really disappeared. They set out to discover the truth, but as they start putting together the pieces of Owen's past, they soon realize they are also building a new future, one neither of them could have anticipated. So I just want to read this to see like what I think about it. Then I have The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This one is about a wedding, and they're on the remote island. There's storms, so no one can get to the island, but someone ends up dead, as they always do, and these people gotta find out who did it, because it's all the people they know. It's like the groomsmen, the bride, the groom, the bridesmaid, just important people they know. Secluded, or what are those called, like one setting type of books, and I've heard really good things about it, so I just want to finally read it. Then I have Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Basically, I think it's this girl trying to figure out who's this serial killer in their City, Jack the Ripper, I guess. But she's not supposed to because like women aren't supposed to do stuff. And I think there's like romance in this. I don't know, I didn't really sell that very good, but I feel like most people know what it's about. Apparently I don't, because apparently I don't know how to say what it's about, but it's like a whole series, so I just want to get into it and then see if I like it and if I want to continue the series. Then I have People Like Us by Dana Melly, I'm not sure. This is just a typical YA mystery. Kay Donovan may have skeletons in her closet, but the past is the past, and she's reinvented herself entirely. Now she's a star soccer player whose group of gorgeous friends run their private school with effortless popularity. But when a girl's body is found in the lake, Kay's carefully constructed life begins to topple. The dead girl has left Kay a computer-coded scavenger hunt, which as it unravels begins to implicate suspect after suspect, until Kay herself is in the crosshairs of a murder investigation. But if Kay is finally backed into a corner, she'll do what it takes to survive, because at Bates Academy, the truth is something you make, not something that happened. I just love YA mysteries. I'm just gonna say it. I just love them. I just love them. I know people don't, but I love them. So this just sounds right up my alley. Then I have When No One's Watching by Alyssa Cole. I think this is a thriller about gentrification. Sydney and Theo's deep dive into history quickly becomes a dizzying descent into paranoia and fear. The neighbors may not have moved to the suburbs after all, and the push to revitalize the community may be more deadly than advertised. When does coincidence become conspiracy? Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? I feel like I've been talking forever, but we have 5 books left. Guilty by Laura Elliott. On a warm summer morning, 13-year-old schoolgirl Constance Lawson is reported missing. A few days later, Constance's uncle Carl Lawson suddenly finds himself swept up in a media frenzy created by journalist Amanda Bow, implying that he is a prime suspect. 6 years later, Carl's life is in ruins, his marriage is over, his family destroyed, but the woman who took everything away from him is thriving with a successful career, husband, and a gorgeous baby boy. Amanda's world is complete, until the day she receives a phone call, and in a heartbeat she is plunged into every mother's worst nightmare. So I think this will be a fun, a little domestic thriller. Then we have Local Woman Missing by Mary Kabika. This is so hyped. This is a very hyped thriller or a mystery. I don't know if it's a thriller, but I just want to get to it like soon, like early in the year, because I've been wanting to get to this for a while. Basically, my understanding is one girl goes missing and then a mother and daughter go missing. Then years later, one of them appears, comes back. Everyone wants to know what happened to her, but no one is prepared for what they'll find. Then I have The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. This was also, I feel like, been a hyped mystery at one point. So it follows Jane, and she is kind of a no one in this place that she lives. The kind of place where no one will notice if Jane lifts the discarded jewelry off the side tables of her well-heeled clients, where no one will think to ask if Jane is even her real name. Meet Eddie, recently widowed, as he has become mysterious ever since his wife Bea drowned in a boating accident with her best friend. Their bodies lost in the deep. Jane can't help but see an opportunity in Eddie. Not only is he rich, brooding, and handsome, but he could also offer her the kind of protection she craves. Yet, as the two fall for each other, Jane is haunted by the legend of Bea, an ambitious beauty and successful entrepreneur with a rags to riches origin story. How can she, plain Jane, ever measure up? And can Jane win Eddie's heart before her past or his catches up with her? Domestic thriller, you know, they're good, okay? They're solid. The Girls Are Also Nice here by Lori Elizabeth Flynn. This kind of gives me Pretty Little Liars vibes, and if you don't know, that's like my favorite show. I know it's a little cringy sometimes, doesn't make very much sense. The last episode, not good, but I love the show. I read the books this year. Eventually a video will be going up about those books. I'm finally kind of planning it out, so I finished them in like July. But this gives me Pretty Little Liar vibes because it follows, I think her name's Ambrosia, and she is coming back for a reunion. And one of my favorite books this year was In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, where it takes place at a college reunion. So I really liked that. Her and her friend at the reunion receive menacing messages, and it becomes clear that they're being pursued by someone who wants more than just the truth of what happened that first semester at Wesleyan. The person wants revenge for what they did and the damage they caused, the extent of which she is only now fully understanding, and all because of the game they played to get a boy who belonged to someone else and the girl who paid the price. That sounds so good, but I literally haven't heard like anything about it. So the final book of this video is The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. I have read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell, and I also have The Family Upstairs, but I haven't read that yet. But I like her writing, and I think she's just a solid mystery author. I also haven't really heard anything about this, which is interesting, but oh well. So it's about this really young couple who have a baby, and one night they decide to go out to a party at this massive country estate, but then they don't come home. Then the mother of the, I don't know if they're married, the girl's mother believes that they would not just leave their child, they would not just abandon their child. So she's trying to figure out what happened at this party or that night, why they disappear. No one else seems too concerned. 1 year after the case runs cold, a writer moves into a cottage on the edge of the woods that border the same estate where the couple disappeared, known locally as the Dark Place, the dense forest in her favorite area for long walks, and it's on one such stroll that she stumbles upon a mysterious note that simply reads, "Dig here." Could this be a clue to the young couple's disappearance, and what exactly is buried in this haunted ground? We love. Kind of scary. And it's a thick one for her and for mystery in general. Maybe it's not that long, but it just feels thicker for a mystery. But that is finally, I feel like I talked for way too long for what this video was. But that is the end of my 22 books to read in 2022. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, because both of those would mean the absolute world to me. Let me know down in the comments below what you want to read in 2022. Also, let me know if you've read any of the books that are on my list. What are your thoughts? Should they be on this list? What books do you think I should have put on this list? What books should be a priority for me? Let me know. I'm not gonna like stress about finishing this list, but I do want to finish it, you know? So I'll probably react to this in a year, see what damage I did, if any. But it's not something I'm going to check out every month to make sure I'm reading. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!